Welcome back to Redo of a Healer, anime review episode number 2, adults only. Yep, I have to emphasize that because this show is not for kids at all. It's an adult oriented show, and unlike last time where I discussed some very dark stuff, here it's not very much at all. For one thing, this time we're discussing 3 episodes instead of 4, discussing episodes 5 through 7, which is that book 2 of the series. Now, in this one, we see return of a character, and any, new character per se? No, not really. There's no, well, we do add a character to the cast as a regular, but as for a brand new character who shows up in these episodes, the answer is, well, there's one that makes debut in episode 7. So with this one, basically, we actually have it where we turn to the Sword Hero, the Sword Saint, first time since episode 2. That was the last time she was seen. And she's on the hunt for the healing hero. Because, according to what she's been told, and what a lot of people believe, is that he murdered the princess. And burned down part of the castle. He meets up with her, gets in a fight with her. Heck, he even basically says he's going to break her. Yes, going to break her. Even puts on an aphrodisiac on her arm in order to stop her. And eventually, after a brief scuffle, she's able to be knocked out. And you're probably thinking, does he rape her? No, he does not do that. Not at all. And then she wakes up pretty much the same room that Setsuna woke up in back in episode 3. And we kind of a very similar scene we actually had back in episode 3. Similar, but not exactly the same. Where also the Sword Saint has been switched out of her outfit she was wearing prior to she switched to like a nightgown outfit. And pretty much basically she is told, basically by Freya, who's posing as, well, her old self, about the evil deeds of the kingdom. And after that and some talking, and of course basically him smiling, and of course spilling an aphrodisiac in the air, he proceeds to have sex with Kashio, the Sword Saint. And she apparently does not know there's an aphrodisiac in here that's making her have sex with him. Yes, seriously, Lisa's not frickin' rape. And this goes on for quite a while. Yep, and then after he leaves and basically finishes with her, she goes off, gathers information. Meanwhile, though, him and Setsuna and Freya go out basically riding on their creature. This actually was prior to this, where prior to all this, we actually had them basically, I'm not sure where he found this creature. It looks like a giant camel, where basically we actually have Setsuna and Freya. It looks like they're fishing for animals, but it looks like they're also nude, well, at least they're topless. And I guess he figured, though, hey, since they're here in the water, have sex with both of them. I am not kidding, he seriously does this. By the way, not the only time he does this with both of them. He does it also in episode 7. But that's after what happens. He does actually 3 times over the course of these episodes. He does once episode 5, he does it once episode 6, and he does it once episode 7. Some might say he's having a 3-way. Yep, he is. Unlike last time, basically, there's not much grunting I'm going to basically do this time before I continue. There's not much frustration per se with this one. No angry stuff because some stuff basically hits the first few episodes, but thank God I got past that. So he also meets up with the businessman he met just in the previous episode, where he decides to corner him and try to steal the recipe for the poison. He basically also leaves the town, and that's where he later on meets with the Sword Saint. And he basically forces him until he gives him a very terrible recipe. Though the poison's pretty much cleared up anyways. He does meet with this merchant again in the episode 7, mainly due to what happens in the events of the episode. So, then of course, basically, he of course runs into the captain who gave him his face back in episode 2. Yeah, he shows up again, even though he was just seen just in episode 4. He's back here again, leading his own group and doing evil things. What does he do? Take random people from his village, including Anna, the woman who he actually deeply cared for, and actually implied he was in love with her. And you're probably thinking, because he's evil, what does he do with this beautiful woman? With this man's face, he proceeds to rape her in front of the village. And he does not give a damn, because he's a captain. Yep, and then of course it's implied he did more than once. To the point where when he meets up, finally, when the healing hero finally meets up with her, she dies. Seeing him. And by the way, what does he do with the captain when he finally meets him first disguised as a deserter? Of course, he stole a badge off him, which in the book this did happen. A lot of the stuff that happens in these episodes did happen in the what was translated here. And of course, the captain, along with 4 of his men, they corner what looked like to be a deserter. Like, okay, I have info about the healing hero. By request, return with them to avoid a desertion, drop the desertion charge. He's like, okay, what's the healing hero? He's like, right in front of you. And I'm like, wait, are we repeating episode 2 again? Yes, basically, episode 5 and 6, basically repeating stuff we saw in episodes 2 and 3, though in opposite order. Though he doesn't do the same thing he did with her, he did with Flair in back in episode 2. Oh no. What he does is something different. Because Becky confessed that he raped the woman he loved. Well, what Cassio basically did. Yes, he proceeds to hurt him. Of course, he also apparently burns because he hates the face he has. So then with his healing power, he transforms the captain into a woman. Yes, seriously. Though the episode does count the little factoid, he turned all into a woman except for his groin. That's the only part of him is male. And by the way, he does not notice it for quite a while. Heck, he doesn't notice in his voice that he's turned into a woman. And apparently his men got horny, they proceed to rape him off screen. Yes, and it's implied that thanks to this rape, it kills him. And that's the last scene of the Dick Captain. Yep. And this is what happens. Yeah. I had nothing else to say about that. I had to bring it up because it happened in the episode. Yep. And episode 7 feels like something we see back in episode 4. A big battle, but this time different, per se. Where he finds out this village, basically, people in this village have been taken by the army. And he's been accused of being a heretic. And, oh, by the way, after he finds out that Anna died, Freya and Shisha try to comfort him. And then he proceeds to have a 3 with them. Yep, second time. He did it just in the previous episode, and he does in episode 6 at this point in time. But he says, oh yeah, I'm going to be a little more rough with you. Probably because he just witnessed a woman, someone he cared about die in front of him. Then, of course, he goes out and tries to rescue his villagers. Freya decides to pose as Flora again, like she did in episode 5, though this time in front of a group of people instead of just one person. Reveals the evil deeds of the kingdom, and encourages people to rise up and take down the evil kingdom. Yep. Though, of course, basically we have the healing hero. He proceeds to jump down the Colosseum. Yes, this is the Colosseum, though it does not look like the one from Rome. This is more of a Colosseum you see in other forms of fiction. I mean, I saw a similar looking Colosseum to this in the series The Hidden Dungeon Only I Can Enter, which, by the way, aired the same period of time as the show did. The only difference is The Hidden Dungeon Only I Can Enter was a lot of fun to watch. This one, at times, is not really good to watch. It's not fun to watch at all. There's some good things I like about the show. Yes, so then, of course, he proceeds to slowly kill them using the Iteration Heal. Because these people to explode right in front of his own villagers. And this guy who's just a complete jerk, heck, he proclaims that Fuller, who actually is posing as Freya, posing as Flora, and he's like, oh, that's an imposter. Despite the fact, clearly by people they see, oh yeah, that's her, just by the appearance. Despite the fact the face is different. Yes, basically, this was mentioned by Kirstia back in episode 2 that he did alter her face. Though they cut out the thing where basically he actually changed her face prior to erasing her memory. Yep. So, of course, Freya, as the princess, denounces the kingdom as basically being a bunch of evil villains. So, then of course, the soldiers, where they basically kill all the villagers except for one person, a boy. Though, the guy in charge of the place, he finds out something from the healing hero that he knew nothing about. That apparently these people were fated to die anyways, despite what the healing hero was going to do. They have been poisoned. Yes, they were given poisoned water. All the remaining villagers, just the boy managed to survive. All the rest were killed or basically died of the poison anyways at the end of this. Yes, oh, and by the way, the guy in charge of this thing, he is killed by one of the spectators. Yep, the spectators. Yeah, and of course, Freya actually does show one of the villages that was attacked by the army, who posed as mercenaries, so to kidnap demi-humans Soma as slaves. Yeah, and some spectators look like they're rich people. Apparently, they were disgusted by this. And the other spectators proceed to get out of their seats and proceed to kill all the soldiers that were there, along with the bureaucrat that was there. And apparently, even after saving the boy, well, despite the fact he could have been told that basically he did this, that he basically is very sorry, he says he wants to hate him, so he killed him later on. You might be curious, is this follow-up with? I don't know, I haven't read that far yet. And then right after this, basically, like, he separates from Krisha, though he does reunite with her later, because she's kind of part of his party. Then, of course, basically, he proceeds to go out camping, and, of course, then he proceeds to, once again, have a three-way with Freya and Saoirse. Who, by the way, still refers to herself as in the third person. Yep. And then, of course, they spend the night together. And Sylph reveals that he still needs to go after Bullet and Blade. Norn, he has no plan to go after immediately. He's not part of or trying for his revenge. And he really wants to go after. He wants to go see that female demon lord that he met back in episode 1. Will he? We'll find out next time. But yeah, that's pretty much all the episodes. And this is what literally happened. The only thing particularly I was not really a fan of seeing was seeing a guy transform into a woman and then raped by 4 guys. That was one of 2 things I didn't like in this thing. The other was seeing him rape another woman with another guy's face. Yeah, I was not a fan of seeing that. You probably think, okay, what about the main character having sex with 2 girls? I don't have much of an issue with that because basically they're under control anyways, and they're actually okay with it. At least it's not. Well, you can imply it's rape with one of them. The other one basically is perfectly genuine, despite the fact he kind of convinced her into this. The other one basically he kind of convinced her after he had already raped her prior to this back in episode 2. Though apparently she doesn't know anything about the rape at all because her memories were erased. Though she could have kept her knowledge and alter her personality. Yep, I will be back to the series whenever I get a chance to read book 3. But yeah, that's going to be pretty much it for Stick Review. Next up is a couple comic corners. Yes, I'm doing 2 tonight. Unlike last night, I was not able to do these comic corners due to my streaming ending late. Yep. So, 2 comic corners, and then it'll be Skeleton Knight to Another World. Okay? See you. Bye.